Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. In the infamous words of the man born on March the 16th, Flava Flav, oh say can you see by the dawn's early light, I'm so gallantly, I don't even remember that song no more. I don't even remember that song. Big up the Flava Flav. Big up to Professor Griff. He sent it to me. I'm like, Lord have mercy, not Flava Flav singing the Star Spangled Banner. And the rocket's red glare, the ball bursting in air, gave truth to the night that our flag was still there. Now look at here. Flav is born March the 16th. This, like he said, was his bucket list. He should have threw that in the bucket long time ago. That singing the Star Spangled Banner. Now, mind you, Flava Flav grew up in the Nation of Islam. You know, he was a child of the nation. So go figure that one out. But he's born on the 16th. This is a number 7 year. We're getting ready to close out the number 7 year. And the man, he born on the 16th, 1 and 6 is 7. And he got to sing the Star Spangled Banner in a number 7 year. I can't run away from the patterns. I had to look at him. I remember his birthday was the 16th. So when I heard that he sung the Star Spangled Banner, I said, it makes sense. This is his cycle. This is one of his good years that he's coming out of, and he is in a money-making cycle year too. So you get paid to do those things too. You get paid to sing those songs and be a celebrity singing a song. So, oh, say can you see by the I can't, I swear to you, family, I can't remember that song unless someone sings that. And unless I'm following somebody to sing that, I can't remember that song. We used to sing that back in school. P.S. So just wanted to come on here right before it is now November the 1st. Hey, big up to all the November people. Happy born day to a dear friend of mine's, Etoy Experience. Today is her birthday. And like I told you, Kiro, like I told you in my early live when I spoke about November being 9/11 and 4/11. Y'all make sure y'all check that out on YouTube. November being the month of 9/11 and 4/11. So that's a good look. You know, that's a good look for what's happening with and November is one of these months, like I said in my 9/11 and 4/11 broadcast earlier today. Stay alert, stay focused, keep your mind and your vibration high. There's a song that Rita Marley used to sing. I'm feeling high. I'm feeling high. What? Marijuana. Oh God. You want to feel high, not by marijuana though. I'm not telling you go feel high by marijuana. I'm saying keep your mind high on higher levels. Keep your mind high on vibratory levels. So stay on that high. Stay on that high. Always remember, stay on that high. And if you're not going to do a session with me, I always implore people to go look it up. If like this person said, keep on seeing 111 and 11. If you're seeing 111, go look it up. Go Google it. Go Google it. That's what Google, like Dr. Africa told me years ago, Google is your friend, King. Google. And then cross-reference it with what's happening in your life or what you need to do in your life, because it's all out there. That's what data entry was all about, putting all the data that needed to be put into this computer age. Go look it up for yourself. If you're seeing numbers, although I come from a different perspective, because I'm not just going to look at it from what they say as angel numbers. I look at it from the angles, and I look at it from different angles, because there's duality in everything. And then when you're seeing a certain amount of numbers, if you're seeing 3 or 4 numbers all the time for a good amount of hours or a good amount of days, then you start seeing if it works for you, if it's connected to you in any way, or that you have to do something to realign yourself. Because if you're seeing numbers all the time, more than likely it's about realignment or reconnecting, or keep on doing what you're doing, especially if you see the correlation with those numbers constantly. You know what I'm saying? So, it's very important. You gotta text me via WhatsApp if you're texting me at all, especially if you're from outside of the United States. Text me via WhatsApp at the number that you see, not at the 718 number, only at the 347 number that you see on my Linktree. So make sure you are, and again, if you're seeing numbers, go Google it. Don't ask me unless you're going to book a session, because in my sessions, I show you how it's connected to you and your birthday. But if you're seeing numbers over and over, go Google it, go research it. 4 and 7 equals 11. So go look that up. Because if you study it for yourself, at least from the basic level, then it belongs to you. It belongs to you. But as a proficient person that uses the study of numbers, I'm going to connect it. I'm going to show you in your name, your birthday, or the cycle that you're in, what it all means for you. So this is not, stop. That's why I tell people I don't do readings, because many of you disrespect the science by thinking that we're just a bunch of parlor tricks, that I'm just going to drop a card and I'm going to do that. I do that sometimes. I'll do numbers when I'm online and do certain things, but it's not parlor trick. It's really something about, if we bear witness that numbers don't lie, then you need to recognize why numbers don't lie. And not just from mathematics and adding, because everywhere in the world you can add, subtract, multiply, divide, and those numbers work from that physical perspective of doing multiplication. But if you connect it to the human existence, people all of a sudden don't realize that they're part of this mathematics also, and that you don't have to be locked into anything. You can actually spiral out of it. You don't have to be locked into anything. You could actually spiral, because remember, you can either spiral down or spiral up or be complacent. But I always stress that you are not the number. You are not the astrology chart. Those things are here to guide you so you can really recognize who and what you are, who and what your family are, who and what people around you are, connected to the numbers of guidance, connected to the astrology, the planets of guidance. They're there to reveal cycles, patterns, sequences. That's why people look to ephemeruses. People look to astronomy, astrology for guidance. So take this as take the numbers as something as like a GPS for guidance, guiding, making sure you are positioning yourself for the best outcome you want out of life. For the best outcome you want in life, you want to make sure you position. And you don't have to do a session with me. You can go online. You can go to Lloyd Strayhorn. You can go to his app. But every person that practice these different modalities have their own personal perspective, and then they have a perspective that has connected them to patterns, cycles, and sequences of life. And then what we do for the client is to help them recognize these patterns, cycles, and sequences of life, and give them the potential understanding of where they need to go. Because although people might have a whole bunch of master numbers in their name or in their birthday, I always stress that this says that you have the potential to be a master. But if you're not willing to be open to being a master, and you're lazy and you don't want to put in the work to being a master, because think about it, when people go and get master degrees, they got to go through a lot to get those master degrees. They got to go through a lot of schooling. If you want to master something, usually they tell you it takes 7 years to 10,000 hours to master certain things. So it does take work. So if I see you have a lot of master double numbers in your name, or master numbers in your birthday, or master number in your life path, or master number in the year, the month you're born, or the year you're born, or whatever, because master numbers could show up in your name up to 99, from 11 all the way to 90. 11 to 99 can show up in your name, and I'm going to look for them just to remind you and show you there's an indication of the mastery that you can accomplish in this realm. So if I see people with double R's in their name, double R's, what I mean, they got to be close together, not separated. They're close together. Double R's or double L's or double M's, like I was saying on one of the lives that I did with Mama Ella, Your Majesty. Those double L's and double R's in your name, or double A's, means something to me. And if it's in your first name or in your middle name or your last name, if it's in your last name, that means you've inherited master numbers that you can use, because it's an inheritance. If it's in your middle name, if you have a middle name, then it's the bridge. They call that the bridge, or bridging the gap of what you can use so you can be to use it as a guiding apparatus. And then if it's in your first name, they call that the active name. So that means if master numbers show up in your first name, double A's, double M, double L's, then it's showing me, the numerovator, that you need to be actively putting those master number interpretations to work. That's what it shows me. I don't have no master numbers in my name. I have master numbers in my vowels. When I add up all the vowels in my name, it adds up to a master number 11 in the Chaldean system. And I look for your master numbers in the vowels of your name, the A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. I look for the master numbers in the consonants of your name. I look for the master numbers in the expression of your name. I look for the master numbers in the month you may be born, or its connection between the adding of the month and the day, or the adding of the month and the year. I look for it because those are different cycles and patterns and sequences that we are supposed to look for when it comes to numbers. So if you're constantly seeing a set of numbers, you can Google it up. And some people come and tell me, yeah, they're so vague. They're not that they're vague, there's a perspective. But when you come to me, I'm going to show you how they are connected to you when you have or see constant, quote unquote, angel numbers, or what I call angle numbers. Because I like to call it angle numbers because it lets me know what angle you need to take. Whether you are on a positive road, or you're on a negative road, or you're on a lazy ass road, and you're complacent, you're comfortable where you at. So it's important to the numerovator myself, or other numerologists that doesn't call themselves numerovator, but I'm telling people that yesterday's numerology is not today's numerovation moving forward, because the job of anybody practicing numerology is to guide people and motivate them to activate and maximize the interpretation that they're giving them with their numbers. I don't give a damn who they are. If you're going to practice this science, this metaphysics, but yet applicable mathematics, if you're going to practice it, you got to motivate. That's why I call what I do numerovation. It's not a hard word. Some people just get caught up. It's not a hard word. Numerovation. Numerovation. It's just that I roll my R's. Numerovation. That's the Cuban part of me. That's the Jamaican part of me. The numerovation. Numerovation. Roll the R's. Numerovation. So I say numerovation. So don't take your name, your nicknames, your last names, your middle names, or your first name for granted. Even if you don't like your name, you might be connected to a name that you needed, that you have came here with through your mom and dad, that may bring you a lesson to what you need to overcome. That's why in the science and study of numbers, if you're missing certain letters that are connected to certain numbers, if you have like no numbers, or no numbers connected to that letter, or you have one or two, that means there's something that you came back to learn. I look for those too. It means there's something. If you have a lot of them and like over 3 or more, then that means that you don't have to learn that lesson anymore. And some people come without having to learn lessons. But if anything, most of the time, when all the thousands of people that I've done sessions for, I recognize that some people don't believe in their powers. They don't believe in their powers, and that's not a good look. And it comes from what happened to them in their past. And I got it. I understand. Mommy issues, daddy issue, brother and sister issue, cousin issues, fondling, molestation, adoption. I got it. It's a lot going on in this realm that many of us had to learn. May the Creator continue to bless you if you made it through the foster care system. Because I know it's not easy. I knew friends of mine that used to handle foster care individuals. And the trauma that a lot of them has gone through, I'll be like, wow. I remember one time I'm dating a friend and she had a foster child. So I wake up late at night to go to the bathroom, but the little girl left the door open. And as soon as I walked in the door, because I didn't see her in the bathroom, I pushed the door, going to the bathroom. She got totally nervous, but I could see the trauma in her eyes. So I said, oh, I'm sorry. And I went to the next bathroom downstairs. I apologized to the little girl and then apologized to the mother because I didn't see her. She didn't, she left the door open. And that's an easy mistake because I'm waking up at this former girlfriend's house and walking to the bathroom and not knowing that they usually left the light on in the bathroom because, people was afraid of the dark and all that. But I could see the trauma in that girl's eyes. And she was born February 11th. So I can see what happened. And then when the mother the next morning explained to me what happened to that, what's up, Blue Pill? The mother that morning, and Cafunia, what's up, Cafunia? Mother that morning explained to me what's going on with that child, because what happened, they get a report about those children that they take on as foster children. And my aunt used to have foster children also. Big up to my aunt, my late aunt. She had foster children also. So, but that little girl, the mother, my friend, she explained that little girl was getting sold by her mother to men. And I was like, tears came to my eyes because I didn't understand why she got so frightened when I came into the bathroom mistakenly. And she went up against the bathroom thing and went up against the wall. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. No, go ahead, use your bathroom. And she wasn't on the toilet. She was washing her hand. But obviously a trigger went back into her. Something happened. So when I asked the woman, a friend of mine, what happened to her, she said, finding out the reports of the why she was in the foster home, that the mother was on drugs and the mother used to sell her little daughter, no older than 7 years of age, to men to have sex with. So she's born February the 11th. I remember her birthday. So people born under that 11 energy can go through deception. If you look in my book about numerology and the number 11, it says it deals with treachery, deception from people, from other people. And so it's part of that. That's what the child went through. That's why she was so traumatized when I came into the bathroom mistakenly. She ran up against the wall because her mother used to sell it. It's very deep in this realm, man. That's why myself and people like Blue Pillar is doing what he got to do, and Sister Cafunia is doing what she got to do with her crystal healing and stone. That's why we do what we got to do, because we got to put on the armor of the creative force, the armor of what you might say God, the armor of this universal energy on all levels. Where you might get guidance from me that might tell you to go get some crystals, or might tell you to go get an astrology reading, or go tell you to do. You got to understand these things. So it's a real interesting quagmire, like Star would say, that many of us are in due to whatever circumstances we came out from the early parts of our life, because majority of the adults are on IG. And yeah, young people are jumping on, but the majority of adults, a majority of traumatized adults are on IG. I was tortured as a child. It wasn't molestation. As I look back at it, my cousins never molested me. They tortured me because I ate their food, and they didn't like when I ate their food. So they would tie me up, or they would throw me around and do all kinds of, beat me up, punch on me, all kinds of stuff. But there was no molestation, no rape, and no sexual acts done. Now that I look back at it, and I went back into my mind's eye and said, you know what? They just was beating the hell out of me because I ate their food. I was a little child that was just greedy. And I'll go in their refrigerator while they gone and take their food and eat it. Yeah, I went through those traumas. But it was my fault. I'm eating people's food. But, in a family house, there's no names on the juices, no names on the food. They just put their food there. You might smell it, and you go in there and go eat their food. My cousins, my boy cousins, they was no joke. They would just punch me and bull. I got tough. Yeah, I got tough. They used to create boxing rings in the backyard or boxing rings on the front yard, and we had to box. That time we was learning 52s and all that. We was learning how to do the 52 blocks and learning how to do. We had to box. They put gloves on me, little boys. We be boxing like James Brown did in the movie. They used to put gloves on us and had us boxing in the front yard in Crown Heights when I was younger. So I developed good, quick hand skills, especially with my hands and my with knives. I developed good skills. No, they were not Virgos. They were actually, one was actually a Libra and one was actually a Gemini. They were not Virgos. No, they may have had Virgos in their chart, but I definitely know one was born October 6th and the other one was born May the 27th. Definitely know that. You know what I'm saying? But I got some tough love back in the day. Tough love from my cousins because I was the darkest one out of all of them. And, people was always protecting me because of that whole classism attack. My mother especially. My mother would definitely dog them out. And to the point that one of my cousins cussed out my mother. And my mother never forgot that to this day. To this day, my mother never forgot that. He finally came over to the house and apologized to my mother. Years later. Came over to my house and because he got knowledge of self. But no, they wasn't Virgo, Cafunia. They were not Virgos. I didn't have any Virgo. My sister was a Virgo, so that was none. My sister was a Virgo, so but yeah, they used to. Yeah, my cousin born on the 27th. He was something else. He's still alive, but he's going through his issues, and I see why he's going through his issues. Sometimes they can go through nervous breakdowns. Especially because of his alignment number equaling a 5. And right now he's in that cycle. He's just in that cycle of what they call bipolarism. He's just one of those cycles in that cycle. And I understand what he went through. Because when I went to ask them, when I found out their background and knowing their background, their stepfather whooped their ass almost every other day. My cousins that used to beat up on me, their stepfather whooped their ass every other day. And they light-skinned. So when they got whooped, it was a whooping that showed on their skin. From all the way from Jamaica when they was younger. So even the girl, she got her ass whooped. Yeah, happy birthday. Enjoy your birthday. So it's very important that people learn to pay attention. And when you do a numerovation session with me, my job, although I start off real subtle and quiet, and I ask you certain things and I require you to have certain questions, I turn up in the midst of the session. I turn up because there's so much coming at me, so much information coming at me. So much coming at me, and then I have books laid around that my spirit tell me to go to that book to read something out of that book for that person, or go to that book to read something out of that book. But I'm downloading, I'm uploading, I'm reaching for everything. Whatever's talking to me, I'm going with it. Bop, bop, bop. I'm going with it because it's serious. It's a serious thing for me. It's a serious thing for Lloyd. It's not our livelihood. It's something that we love to do so much that we have created income from it to the point that we have written books. I have 4 books. I believe Lloyd has 4 or 6 books, but we have written books because of it. And when people come to me to do sessions, remember, all of us, when we pay for when you spend your money, you actually innately want to do something because your spirit is telling you to do. Your energetic spirit is telling you, I got to do this, something why I need to do that. And most, if not all of the time, when people do a session with me, they are in the cycle of spiritual growth or spiritual development, or they're in a crossroads of their life, or they're in at another expansive crossroad of their life, or they're in one of the cycles of the need to recognize assets and liabilities in their life, and they want to find out what their mathematics is all about, why their GPS is that numerology, that GPS is the astrology. Get that GPS done by whoever you feel you need to do. Like Lloyd would tell you about me, I'm straight to the point. I don't like to dilly-dally. I don't like to waste time. I like to get right in. That's why I don't do nothing more than 30 minutes. And sometimes I go over 5 minutes. Sometimes I go over 10 minutes. But I don't like to waste time. I like to get right to it. I like to bop, 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 bop. Because instead of swinging like this, I'm directing your face with it. Bop, bop, bop. I'm hitting everything. I'm doing what I got to do, quick. I ain't got no time to be swinging around because that can get blocked. So I got to be right up in your face. I got to whoop, 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 like Soke Little John told us back in the day. We ain't got no time to be dancing with people. And that's how I treat my numerovation. I treat it like a Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu class or V-Jitsu or VSK Jiu-Jitsu class. And Kumite and all of that. So I put in my speech, in how I speak. You might hear me quote Dr. Moses Powell. You might hear me quote Soke Little John. You'll hear me quote Les Brown. You'll hear me quote Eric Thomas. You'll hear me quote Tony Robbins. You'll hear me quote Bob Proctor. You'll hear me quote Lisa Nichols. You'll hear me quote Ian Levanzant because it's called numerovation. It's called numerovation because I'm taking the numerals, the principles of numerology and the interpretations of numbers, the study of numbers, and applying it to motivation. That's why it's numerovation. The vation is from motivation. No time wasted. Can't waste time because the universe wastes nothing. Let me say that again for the people that are in the back of IG. The universe wastes nothing. The universe wastes, what's up, Trina? The universe wastes nothing. And that's what we forget. Regardless, the earth is going to accept the body of a white man, an Asian man, a melanated man, whatever. The earth has no color lines, and numerology has no color lines. Numerology has no biases. Astrology has no color line, has no biases. These different modalities has no color lines and no biases. They just gonna do what it do. That's why I got clients in Germany. I have clients in Africa. I got clients in Canada. I got clients in the Caribbean. They have no color lines. That's why I love the book by J.A. Rogers, who was born September the 6th. He wrote the book, Nature Has No Color Lines. Nature has no color lines, family. And because numbers are connected to nature, music, artifact, and different things of natural uses, pattern, cycles, and sequence, like I said, we got 10 fingers, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 32 teeth, 2 ears, 1 throat, 1 esophagus. Then it goes down to 1 stomach. Then it goes down. Then you got 2 lungs. You got 1 heart. You got 10 toes. You're walking, you're living mathematics. All of us are walking and living mathematics. Walking and living mathematics. You're damn right, Kafunya. I do what I love. And then I add my energy of what I used to do on the stage to it. Especially when I'm teaching. That's why if you get my class that I just did, it's only $55 for a 3-hour class, but it's called Applied Numerovation. I'm telling you. You'll see my energy on the show. You'll see my energy on the class because I like to have fun or I like to drop knowledge. I might come out with a thing. California, I've been on stage for years. It's not just I'm a stage. I like the stage. I love microphones. So when I do my numerovation, I'm doing it like I'm doing right here. I'm just pop, 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 pop. Have some fun, baby. Have some fun. Yeah, so big up to everybody that's on the live, man. I just decided to come on real quick to show some love because people have been texting me after I did that thing with Ella and after I did today's thing on YouTube and on Instagram about the month of November, sharing the frequency of 911 and 411, 411 and 911. 911 and 411, November. Now that we're in November, it shares the frequency of 911, the emergency frequency, and 411, the information. So you need to immerse yourself. You need to immerse yourself into the information, information, inside of you, formation. It's an emergency call this month. It's about going inward. Inward, immerse yourself inward so you can maximize and keep yourself at a higher level going forward because the physical and the spiritual works together. The spiritual don't work independent of the physical and the physical don't work independent of the spiritual. Big up to Holistically Hilarious. What's up, girl? Living laughter. Batman! I know, right? I can get crazy. But behind me is my cousin's artwork, Ical Beckford. That's his artwork right there. Have it hanging up in the back of the wall. So big up to Ical. Somebody who loves to do what he loves to do also. He born April the 14th. Love what he does. Love what he does. Art, and he's been sustaining himself with his artwork for 35 going on 40 years. My cousin Ical. Let me tell y'all a brief story about this picture. The house that I live in is I'm renting it from a friend of mine, right? Because she still lives in New York. Her and her family still live in New York, and they can't make it down here. So unless they come in to just check out certain things. But she's had this painting in her house for 20 years. I've seen it down on the floor. And so every time I came here, I used to just work out in front of this painting, never know that it was my cousin's painting until recently, boom, I decided to look at the name on the picture. And sure enough, Ical Beckford. Ical Beckford is the writer, is the artist for this picture right here. I know, Earth Angel, you just came on, and I know I haven't been breaking down those numbers. I tell people that numbers is very serious to me. So I'm not going to break down any numbers, birthdays right now at this time. Just know that you're born the same day as Dana, somebody I met years ago. And Dana is Queen Latifah. And you're born the same day as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Go study those people and then see what can you do with that energy. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.